show. As everybody on Rokslide knows, they came out with a very hot new bow sight. Some like it, some don't. It's the Garmin Xero. For some reason, I cannot remember that name. We're here with Josh Mormon. He's going to go over the sight for us. We're going to talk a little bit about the Fenix 5 and the Fenix 5X. There's lots of questions on Rokslide about that. Josh, can you tell us a little bit more about the bow sight?
Yep, what's up guys? Fellow Rokslide member here. So you probably heard we released this at ATA 2 weeks ago, and right out of the gates it had a lot of followers, a lot of comments. A lot of people loved it right out of the gates. A lot of people had some opinions on it, and I've probably heard and seen every one of them. But what you have is a auto-ranging bow sight. If you're not familiar with it, it's an auto-ranging bow sight. It has a button here that you can mount anywhere on your grip. What you do is you hold that button down, and that's going to range anything that red pin's on. So it might show up in there, it might not. When you're on the range that you're happy with, or what the animal's standing, where you're ready to shoot, you simply let go of your button, and that's going to give you an exact pin for that range. So if he's at 20 yards, you're at full draw, you range him at 20 yards, you get a 20-yard pin. Say in your draw cycle, you end up scaring that elk or deer, whatever it is, out beyond where you're at. You just simply stay on them, keep your ranging button down, and when you get a shot opportunity, again, you let go of that button, and now you have a new range for it. So it's not making you shoot better. It's not giving you really an advantage other than you don't have to pull your rangefinder out of your holder or your pocket, and you don't have to guess the range. So it's going to give you a nice clean shot, an ethical kill. You still have to practice your shooting. You still have to have good form. You still have to get in the bow range of what you're going to shoot. It's not going to do anything magical for you other than give you a range and cancel out this process of pulling your rangefinder out. So as you know, when you're hunting, it's a very fluid environment. Things are happening fast. Just keeps you on top of that and allows you to get a shot off pretty quickly.
Two biggest questions is, when is it going to come to market, and what's the price point?
So we actually have two different models. We're looking for a early March release to the market. You'll start seeing it in your retailers early March. The two different models, the A1 and the A1i, they have a price point of $799 and $999. The higher end model, the A1i, has a few extra features on it. You're going to get a feature called Laser Locate. Basically, when you shoot or range something, it saves it into a list of range profiles. You can then select to send that to your Garmin GPS or Fenix watch, Fenix 5 or better watch. So it gives you a starting point for finding where your arrow went, where to blood trail. Also has a target practice feature. Basically in target practice mode, every time you shoot it detects your shot, and it'll tell you how much your bow is torqued left or right in degrees. So it can really help on your form and improving your shot performance. Really cool features, it'll tell you in milliseconds how long your bow vibrated for after a shot. So you can start playing with different accessories on your bow and really tuning your bow up to bring that vibration profile down. And finally, the upper end product has the arrow profile. So if you're shooting 3D competition with a real lightweight arrow one week, next week you go elk hunting, it'll allow you to switch back and forth without re-sighting all those in. You just go back and forth your different weighted profiles, and you can get 10 of those.
Do you know if this is illegal in any states by chance?
So there's varying levels of legality. So we're not making a full statement. We want you to research that on your own. But from the research we've done, we found it to be fully legal in 41 states. Okay. The states that we're listing as not legal have varying levels of being able to use it. So in my state of Idaho, for instance, I can't use it on big game, but I did call Idaho Fish and Game this week. They're familiar with the bow sight like everybody else, and they told me I can use this on predator hunting. So wolf, coyote hunting, I can take this out and have fun with it. And so just research what state you're in and what you're allowed to use it on.
All right, we got a question on the battery life.
Yep, so battery life, it'll take 2 AAA lithium batteries. That's good for about 20,000 range button depressions, or about a year's worth of life. When the battery starts to die, instead of it just conking out on you and giving you nothing, you're actually going to get a few weeks of it turning into a fixed pin sight, and I'll get that up for you. So it'll actually turn into a fixed pin sight of what fixed pin ranges you gave it. And so even if you're out in the field and you forgot to change batteries out, the worst case scenario is going to revert back to a normal fixed pin bow sight.
All right, and will you be able to send it to the Fortrex 701?
As of right now, I don't believe the firmware update has that. Could be something it's capable of because it's using our ANT connection, and I believe that does have our ANT connection.
but it does go to your watch.
It will go to our Fenix 5 series watch.
All right, on the actual watches, one of our biggest debates is why would you buy the 5X over the 5?
Yep, so the big difference between the 5 and the 5X is the 5X actually has topo maps preloaded on the device. So I've literally used this to get out of a bind. I was pretty deep in backcountry in Idaho and had my breadcrumb trail kind of following me, and I got myself turned around and I was able to pull up an actual topo map and track myself back to where I was, and I was able to tell if I was going to get cliffed in or something like that. So it wasn't just a blind track back. I literally could see the land profile of where I was headed. Couple cool things on the 5X, it also has road maps. So if you're in a city maybe you're not familiar with and you're having trouble getting cell service, it'll pull up restaurants, lodging, gas stations, things like that. I actually used that in Kodiak Island this year. I had to do a training for some search and rescue teams, and I couldn't find on my phone because I had no service, so I pulled up nearest locations and it listed the place I had to go to, and I was able to literally get turn-by-turn instructions driving the car. It would vibrate and let me know I have a turn coming up in 100 feet, and was able to use it to navigate on Kodiak Island. So
that's pretty cool. So obviously there's probably a battery suck on that map compared to just the 5?
They're pretty comparable. It all depends if you're using the GPS in the device. So if you're just using it in watch mode, you're going to get a good 2 weeks out of it. If you're turning it off when you're going to sleep, things like that, you're going to get even farther. Every time you turn on an activity such as hiking or navigation, anything that's going to use that GPS, then it can pull the battery down a little bit. So.
Could you say the overall weight?
Of the bow sight? 14.7 ounces. Yep.
On any other watches, if you're just in it for fitness and heart rate, is there a better watch than those?
I mean, this is our top of the line. It's going to have all the bells and whistles. If you're just looking for maybe like cycling or swimming, we have a whole range of watches from our Vivo Active line, our Fenix, our Forerunners. We just released a new Forerunner. So yeah, there's varying levels. I'm the kind that likes to go for the top on everything I'm doing. I want the best there is. So.
I also want to give you a shout out. What's your YouTube channel? You have some pretty good videos out there.
Yep, so I work with a couple guys. I'm on His and Hers TV show. We're doing all web-based this year. We've been on Pursuit for 8 years, and we're doing all web-based this year. So check us out, His and Hers. Also work with Southern Draw. We have a YouTube channel as well, and trying to do more of our Instagram stuff as well. So.
All right, we appreciate it, Josh.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thanks for stopping by, guys.